Chapter 1. The City of Verona and Two Families. In the beautiful city of Verona, there were two rich and powerful families. One family was called the Montagues, and the other was the Capulets. Both families were proud and strong. But they had a long and terrible hate between them. No one remembered how the fight started, but everyone knew it never ended. Every time they met on the street, they wanted to fight. The people of Verona were tired of this hate. They wanted peace, but the Montagues and the Capulets always argued. Even the servants of the two houses hated each other. One small word could start a big fight. One hot morning, two servants of the Capulet house, Samson and Gregory, walked through the streets of Verona. They talked loudly and laughed. When they saw two servants from a Montague house, they became angry. They wanted to start trouble. Samson said, "I will bite my thumb at them." In Verona, that was a rude sign, like saying bad words. The Montague servants became angry too. Soon they were shouting and pulling out their swords. Then Benvolio, a young man from a Montague family, came running. He shouted, "Stop! Stop! Put your swords away. You don't know what you're doing." Benvolio wanted peace. He was kind and gentle, but no one listened. Suddenly, Tybalt, a young man from the Capulet family, appeared. Tybalt hated all Montagues. He looked at Benvolio and said, "Do you fight with your sword and then talk of peace? I hate the word peace as I hate hell and all Montagues." Then he attacked Benvolio. The fight grew bigger and bigger. People from both families joined. Swords flashed in the sun. The citizens ran away screaming. The streets were full of fighting men. Soon, the Prince of Verona, named Prince Aeschylus, came with his guards. He was very angry. "Stop this madness," he shouted. "3 times you have disturbed the peace of our city with your fighting. If anyone fights again, they will die." Everyone became silent. The men put down their swords. The Capulets went home, and the Montagues did too, but the hate still burned in their hearts. After the fight, Lord Montague looked for his son Romeo. Romeo was a young man, handsome and kind, but he often looked sad. Benvolio found him walking alone under the trees, far from a noise. "Good morning, cousin," said Benvolio. "Why are you sad? The day is beautiful." Romeo sighed. "I am sad because of love." "Love?" Benvolio asked. "Who is the girl?" "Her name is Rosalind," said Romeo softly. "She is beautiful, but she does not love me. I think of her day and night. She is cold as snow, and my heart burns for her." Benvolio smiled kindly. "There are many girls more beautiful than Rosalind. Forget her." Romeo shook his head. "I cannot forget her. There is no other woman for me." Benvolio said, "We will go to the Capulets' party tonight. All the ladies of Verona will be there. You will see other faces, and maybe you will forget your sadness." Romeo hesitated. "The Capulets? They are our enemies." Benvolio laughed. "We will wear masks. No one will know who we are." Romeo agreed at last, because he wanted to see Rosalind again. She would be at the party too. That evening, the Capulet house was full of lights and music. Beautiful candles shone in the windows. Guests came in rich clothes. Servants brought food and wine. Everyone was happy and excited. Lord Capulet, Juliet's father, greeted the guests warmly. He was a kind man who loved his only daughter, Juliet. She was just 13 years old, young and innocent. Her mother, Lady Capulet, wanted her to marry soon. Juliet, her mother said, "There's a noble young man named Count Paris. He is rich, handsome, and wants to marry you." Juliet blushed. "I don't know about marriage. It is an honor I dream not of." Her mother smiled. "Just look at him tonight at the party. You may like him." Juliet nodded politely. She was young and didn't know what love really was. Meanwhile, outside the Capulet house, Romeo, Benvolio, and their friend Mercutio arrived wearing masks. Mercutio was full of jokes and laughter. He loved to talk and make everyone smile. Romeo was nervous. He said, "My heart feels heavy." "Something bad will happen tonight." Mercutio laughed. "Dreams are only dreams, my friend. Come and dance." They entered the hall. Music played, people danced, and laughter filled the air. Romeo looked around, and suddenly he saw her. Juliet. The world stopped. He forgot everything. Rosalind, the hate, the noise. Juliet shone like light in darkness. He whispered, "Did my heart love till now? I never saw true beauty till this night." Juliet saw him too. Their eyes met, and time stood still. She didn't know his name, but something inside her heart moved deeply. Romeo walked to her slowly. He took her hand. Their fingers touched, and it felt like magic. He said softly, "My lips are two pilgrims. They wish to touch the holy place." Juliet smiled shyly. "Good pilgrim, your hand is gentle. Saints do not move, though lovers pray." Then he kissed her hand. It was the sweetest moment of their lives. But soon Nurse, Juliet's helper, came and whispered, "Juliet, your mother calls you." Juliet turned and went away. Romeo asked the nurse, "Who is her mother?" "The lady of the house," said the nurse, "the wife of Lord Capulet." Romeo's heart froze. "She is a Capulet," he whispered. "My life is my enemy's." Later, Juliet asked the nurse, "Who is that young man who would not dance?" The nurse replied, "His name is Romeo, and he is a Montague." Juliet felt her heart tremble. "My only love sprung from my only hate. Too early seen unknown and known too late." She looked out of the window, her heart full of confusion and longing. In one night, she had found love and danger. That night, the moon shone over Verona. The city slept, but two hearts were awake. Romeo walked in the garden, thinking of Juliet. Juliet stood on her balcony, thinking of Romeo. Both whispered the same words into the night. "I love him. I love her." Chapter 2: The Balcony and Secret Love. The party at the Capulet house was over. The music stopped. The guests said goodbye, and the lights grew dim. But Romeo could not leave. His heart pulled him back toward the Capulet's garden. He climbed over the high wall quietly, hiding in the shadows. He wanted to see Juliet again, even for a short moment. He did not care that she was a Capulet, or that he could die if he was caught. He whispered to himself, "Love gave me wings. I flew over these walls. Stone walls cannot keep love out." Juliet came out on her balcony. The night was calm, and the moon was bright. She looked up at the stars and sighed deeply. She did not know Romeo was below, listening. She began to speak softly to the night. "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, why are you Romeo? Why must you be a Montague? Deny your father and refuse your name. Or if you will not, just swear you love me, and I will no longer be a Capulet." Romeo's heart beat fast. He could not stay silent. He stepped out from the shadows and said gently, I take you at your word. Call me only love, and I will be new baptized. From this moment, I am no longer Romeo. Juliet gasped, What man is this who hides in the dark and listens to my words? Romeo answered, I don't know how to tell you who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to me because it is your enemy. If it were written, I would tear the word. Juliet whispered, You are Romeo, and you are Montague. How did you come here? The garden walls are high, and the place of death. Romeo smiled softly. With love's light wings did I come. For stone walls cannot hold love out. And if they see me, let them kill me. Better my life end by their hate than live without your love. Juliet felt her heart melt. She said, The darkness hides my face, or you would see me blush. I should be more careful, but my heart cannot hide what it feels. Romeo took a small step forward. He looked up at her balcony. His voice trembled with feeling. If your love is true, he said, tell me now. Say you will be mine and I will be yours. Juliet thought for a moment, then said, I should be wise and slow, but my heart says yes. If you truly love me, send me word tomorrow. Tell me when and where we can marry. Romeo's eyes shone with joy. Tomorrow, he said, I will send word. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow. Juliet smiled. Good night, my love. May your rest be soft and sweet. Then she went inside. Romeo looked up at her window one last time. The stars seemed brighter than ever. He whispered, My heart is hers forever. The next morning, Romeo went to see Friar Lawrence, a kind old priest who often helped young people in Verona. The friar was working in his small garden, picking herbs and flowers. He knew every plant and its secret power. Some could heal, some could harm. When he saw Romeo, he smiled. Good morning, my son. It is early. What brings you here so soon? Romeo said excitedly, I have been awake all night. I have not been with Rosalind. I have found a new love, Juliet, the daughter of Capulet. The friar looked surprised. What? A Capulet? My son, that is dangerous. Their family is your enemy. Romeo answered quickly, Our love is true. Please, good father, agree to marry us today. Friar Lawrence thought for a moment. He loved peace and wanted to stop the hate between the two families. He said slowly, This marriage may turn your family's hate into love. But be careful, my son. Love that burns too fast can end in ashes. Romeo smiled. Thank you, father. I will never stop loving her. The friar nodded. Come to me in the afternoon. I will marry you both in secret. Meanwhile, Juliet waited impatiently at home. She sent her old nurse to find Romeo and bring news. The nurse loved Juliet like her own daughter, but she liked to tease her. Juliet said, Please hurry. My heart is full of fear and hope. The nurse laughed. You are so young, yet you love so deeply. I will go find your Romeo. She went to the city and met Romeo near the church. Sir, she said, my young lady sent me. If you mean to do her good, tell me your plan. Romeo replied with respect. Tell Juliet to come to Friar Lawrence's cell this afternoon. There we shall be married. He gave the nurse a rope ladder. Tell her to hang this at her window tonight. I will come to her room, and we will be together as man and wife. The nurse smiled, but she also worried. Young men love with their eyes, not always with their hearts, she warned. Romeo shook his head. Not I. My heart belongs only to Juliet. The nurse hurried home. Juliet ran to her. What news? Tell me quickly. The old woman sat down, pretending to be tired. Oh, my back, my bones, how they ache. Juliet almost cried. Sweet nurse, please. Speak of Romeo. Finally, the nurse laughed and said, Go to Friar Lawrence's cell. There waits your husband to make you his wife. Juliet hugged her tightly and whispered, My love has no end. That afternoon, Juliet went secretly to the small chapel. Friar Lawrence stood ready, smiling gently. Romeo was already there, waiting nervously. When Juliet entered, the light through the window touched her face. Romeo's heart filled with peace. He said softly, If I could write beauty, your name would be every word. Juliet smiled shyly. My love for you is as deep as the sea. The more I give, the more I have. The friar raised his hands and blessed them. In holy love, I join your hearts. Let no hate divide what heaven has made one. They held each other's hands, and in that quiet place, they became husband and wife. No music played, no guests cheered. Only their hearts spoke the words, I am yours forever. After the wedding, Romeo left quickly, for no one must see him. The city outside was noisy again. He walked through the hot streets, smiling to himself. But fate was not kind. In another part of Verona, Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, was angry. He had seen Romeo at the Capulets' party. To him, it was an insult. He wanted revenge. Tybalt searched for Romeo, his sword ready. But he found Mercutio and Benvolio first. Mercutio, always ready to joke, said, Tybalt, the king of cats, what do you want? Tybalt replied coldly, I want to talk with one of you. Benvolio said, Please, let's go somewhere private. The street is no place to fight. Tybalt ignored him. Where's Romeo? At that moment, Romeo came running, full of happiness. When he saw Tybalt, he stopped. Tybalt pointed his sword. Romeo, you are a villain. Romeo shook his head. I am no villain, Tybalt. I have reason to love you, but I cannot tell you why. Tybalt laughed angrily. Your words are empty. Draw your sword. Mercutio stepped forward. Coward, if you won't fight, I will. He drew his sword and attacked Tybalt. Romeo cried, Stop, stop, both of you. He tried to push them apart, but Tybalt's sword went under Romeo's arm and struck Mercutio. The wound was deep. Mercutio fell, joking weakly. Ask for me tomorrow, and you will find me a grave man. Then his smile faded. A plague on both your houses. He died in Romeo's arms. Romeo looked at his friend's body in shock. Anger filled his heart. This day's black fate will bring more sorrow, he whispered. He turned to Tybalt. Fire-eyed fury be my guide. They fought fiercely. In a flash, Tybalt fell to the ground dead. Romeo stood still, breathing hard. What have I done? Oh, I am fortune's fool. Benvolio pulled his arm. Go. Run away, Romeo. The prince will kill you for this. Romeo ran, disappearing into the streets. His love and his hate had now become one. At the same time, Juliet waited in her room, dreaming of her wedding night. She looked out a window and whispered, Come, gentle night, and bring my Romeo. But then the nurse came in crying, Oh, he is dead. He is dead. Juliet turned pale. Romeo, No, said the nurse. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo killed him. Juliet covered her face. O serpent heart, hid with a flowering face, beautiful and yet full of death. But soon she stopped crying and said softly, "No, my Romeo would not kill without cause. He must be in pain." The nurse said, "He is hiding at Friar Lawrence's cell." Juliet whispered, "Then give this ring to my true knight. Tell him to come before he goes away." That night, Romeo came to Juliet's room by the rope ladder. They held each other and cried together. Romeo said, "I must leave Verona. The prince has banished me." Juliet said, "Then let me go with you." He kissed her gently. "I wish I could, but we must wait for a better time. One day we will be together again." The morning light began to show through the window. The birds sang softly. Juliet whispered, "It is not yet morning." Romeo smiled sadly. "It is the lark that sings. I must go." They kissed once more, their tears mixed with hope and fear. Chapter 3: The Secret Wedding and the Fight. The sun rose over Verona. The streets were quiet, but sadness filled the air. Tybalt, a Capulet, was dead. Romeo, a Montague, had killed him and then disappeared. The Prince of Verona came to the square. He looked at the two families, angry and tired. "3 times you have broken the peace," he said. "Today, blood has been spilled again. Romeo must leave Verona at once. If he is found here, he will die." The Capulets cried for Tybalt. The Montagues worried for Romeo. The hate between them grew deeper, even after all the warnings. That same morning, Friar Lawrence sat in a small room when Romeo rushed in. He was pale and shaking. "Father, I am lost," he cried. "I killed Tybalt. The prince has banished me." Friar Lawrence looked at him kindly. "You are alive, Romeo. Be thankful for that." The prince showed mercy. "He could have ordered your death." Romeo covered his face. "To live without Juliet is worse than death. I would rather die than leave her." The friar said calmly, "Be patient, my son. You must go to Mantua for a time. I will find a way to tell the prince your story. When peace returns, you will come back." Romeo dropped to the floor. "I cannot live without her." Then the nurse came running, crying. She said, "Juliet is crying her eyes out. She thinks you are gone forever." Romeo stood up quickly. "Is she still mine? Does she hate me?" The nurse shook her head. "She loves you still, though her heart is broken." Friar Lawrence said, "Go to her tonight. Say your goodbyes before you leave. Before the morning, you must be gone." Romeo wiped his tears and said, "I will go now. Thank you, Father. Thank you, dear nurse." That night, Romeo went to Juliet's room. The house was quiet, and the moon shone softly. When Juliet saw him, she ran into his arms. They held each other and cried together. "My love," Juliet said, "why must the world be so cruel?" Romeo whispered, "The world has no mercy, but our love is strong. Let us forget the hate, if only for tonight." They spoke through the night, holding hands, sharing hope and fear. When morning came, the light touched the window. Juliet said softly, "It is not morning yet. That bird is the nightingale." Romeo smiled sadly. "It is the lark, the messenger dawn. I must go, my love. If they find me here, I will die." Tears fell from Juliet's eyes. She said, "Then let me die too. I cannot live without you." Romeo kissed her. We will be together again. I swear it. He climbed down from her balcony. As he left, Juliet whispered, "Oh, Fortune, keep him safe. Bring him back to me." Soon after Romeo left, Lady Capulet entered Juliet's room. She thought her daughter was still sad because of Tybalt's death. "My dear child," she said, "you must stop crying. We have good news. Your father has arranged your marriage with Count Paris. You will be married on Thursday." Juliet looked shocked. "Married? To Paris?" Her mother nodded. "Yes, he is a noble man. He will make you happy." Juliet felt her heart stop. She said quietly, "I cannot marry him. I already have a husband." But she could not tell her mother the truth. Lady Capulet became angry. "You are too proud. I will tell your father you refuse him." Later, Lord Capulet came in, smiling at first. "My sweet daughter," he said, "I have chosen a good husband for you." Juliet knelt before him. "Father, please, I cannot marry him." Lord Capulet's face changed. He shouted, "What? You will not? You are mine, and you will marry Paris, or you can beg in the streets." Juliet cried, "Please, father, hear me." But he turned away in anger. Her mother said nothing. Only the nurse stayed beside her, holding her hands. "Oh, sweet Juliet," said the nurse softly, "be practical. Romeo is gone. Perhaps it is better to marry Paris." Juliet looked at her in disbelief. "Speak no more. From this moment, you and I are strangers." When the nurse left, Juliet whispered to herself, "I will go to Friar Lawrence. If he cannot help me, I will die." Juliet ran through the streets to the friar's cell. Her eyes were red from crying. When he saw her, he said gently, "Daughter, I already know of your grief." Juliet said, "Father, I am desperate. If you cannot help me, I will kill myself here before you." The friar looked shocked. "No, my child, there is still hope." He thought for a long moment. Then he said, "Listen carefully. You must be brave. Go home and agree to marry Paris. Tomorrow night, drink this potion I give you. It will make you sleep deeply for 42 hours. Your family will think you are dead, and they will place you in the Capulet tomb. While you sleep, I will send a message to Romeo in Mantua. He will come in the night. When you wake, he will be there, and you will escape together." Juliet looked at the bottle in her hands. "Will it work?" she asked softly. The friar said, "I promise you it will. Trust me, my daughter. It is your only hope." Juliet kissed his hands. "Thank you, father. If all else fails, I will truly die." That night, Juliet returned home. She told her father she was sorry for her disobedience. Lord Capulet was so happy that he moved the wedding one day earlier, from Thursday to Wednesday. Juliet froze with fear, but she pretended to be calm. That night, she went to her room with the potion in her hand. The nurse said, "Good night, sweet child. Tomorrow you will be a bride." Juliet smiled sadly. "Yes, a bride." When she was alone, she looked at the potion. She whispered, "What if it kills me for real? What if I never wake again?" Her heart trembled, but she thought of Romeo. "Love, give me strength," she said and drank it. Soon she fell on her bed, still as stone. The next morning, the house was full of noise. The musicians came, the cooks prepared food, the servants ran everywhere. Lord Capulet called, "Where's my daughter?" "The bridegroom waits." The nurse went to Juliet's room. She smiled and pulled open the curtains. Wake up, lazy girl. The day has come. But Juliet did not move. The nurse shook her shoulder. My lady? Then she screamed. Help! Help! She's dead. My lady is dead. Lord Capulet ran in, then Lady Capulet. They saw Juliet lying cold and pale. Their joy turned to sorrow. Lord Capulet cried, Death lies on her like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of all the field. They placed Juliet in the family tomb with candles and flowers. The wedding day had become a funeral. Meanwhile, Friar Lawrence sent a message to Romeo in Mantua. He told Friar John, another monk, Go quickly, tell Romeo that Juliet sleeps, not dies. He must come to take her when she wakes. But Friar John was stopped on the road by guards because of a plague. He could not enter the city, and he could not deliver the message. Days passed, and Romeo never received the news. In Mantua, Romeo sat alone in a small room. He dreamed of Juliet. Then his friend Balthasar arrived, breathless and pale. Romeo, he said sadly, I bring bad news. Juliet is dead. I saw her body in the Capulet tomb. Romeo's world fell apart. Is it true? Can I believe it? Balthasar nodded. I saw it with my own eyes. Romeo whispered, Then I will join her. If she is gone, there is no life for me. He went to a poor apothecary, a man who sold medicine. Give me a poison that works fast, said Romeo. The apothecary said, My lord, the law forbids it. Romeo laid down gold coins. Money is worse poison than your drugs. Take it. Give me what I ask. The man gave him a small bottle. Drink it all and you will die. Romeo thanked him quietly and left. He looked up at the stars and whispered, Juliet, I am coming. That night, he rode back to Verona. He moved silently through the dark streets until he reached the Capulet tomb. There he saw the guards sleeping and the candles burning. Inside lay Juliet, her face peaceful, her beauty still bright. Romeo walked slowly toward her. He knelt beside her and said softly, Here lies my love, my wife. Death has taken your breath, but not your beauty. He kissed her lips one last time. Eyes, look your last. Arms, take your last embrace. And lips, seal the kiss. He drank the poison. Thus with a kiss I die. Chapter 4. The Tragic Ending. The night was quiet in Verona. The stars looked down sadly on the city. In the old churchyard, the Capulet tomb stood in silence. Candles burned softly inside, and the air was cold and still. Romeo lay beside Juliet. His face was calm, as if he were sleeping. The small bottle of poison lay in his hand. His last kiss still touched Juliet's lips. Not long after, Friar Lawrence arrived at the tomb. He carried a small lantern and looked around nervously. He whispered to himself, My message never reached Romeo. I fear some great disaster has happened. He opened the tomb door slowly. Inside, he saw Romeo's body. The poison bottle glimmered in the candlelight. Oh, unhappy youth, he cried. Here lies your love, and here you have died beside her. Cruel fate, what have you done? Then he heard a soft sound. Juliet began to move. Her eyes fluttered open, and she looked around. Where am I? She whispered. Where's my Romeo? Friar Lawrence knelt beside her. Juliet, my child, you are alive. Romeo is here, but he has drunk poison. Juliet sat up quickly. She looked at Romeo's face. Her hands shook as she touched him. No, "He cannot be dead," she cried. She looked for warmth in his hands, for breath on his lips, but there was none. Friar Lawrence said softly, "Come, we must go. People will come soon. The watchmen are near." Juliet shook her head. "I will not go. Leave me here with him." "Juliet, please," said the friar. "I will hide you in a safe place." But Juliet did not listen. She kissed Romeo again and again. His lips were still warm, but only just. "Oh, happy dagger," she whispered, seeing his dagger beside him. "This is your sheath." She took the dagger and pressed it to her heart. "One last kiss, my love." She fell upon Romeo's body. The dagger pierced her heart, and she died beside him. Soon after, the watchmen entered the churchyard. They had heard noises from the tomb. When they saw the two lovers dead, they called for help. "Bring the prince! Bring the Capulets and Montagues!" they shouted. The bells of Verona began to ring in the night. People woke up and came to see what had happened. The Prince of Verona arrived first, wearing a dark cloak. Behind him came Lord Capulet and Lord Montague, both pale and afraid. "What is this?" cried the prince. "Another crime? Another death?" A watchman pointed inside the tomb. "Here, my lord, Romeo and Juliet lie dead." "The friar is here too." Friar Lawrence stepped forward slowly. His hands trembled, but his voice was calm. "My lord, I will tell you all the truth," he said. "These two young lovers were married in secret. I joined their hands, hoping it would end your hate. But after Tybalt's death, Romeo was banished. Juliet came to me, desperate to avoid marriage with Paris. So I gave her a sleeping potion to make her family believe she was dead. I sent a message to Romeo, asking him to come and take her when she woke. But my message never reached him. He heard instead that she was truly dead. So he returned to Verona, bought poison, and came here. When I arrived, he was already dead. Juliet woke, saw him, and killed herself with his dagger. The prince was silent for a long time. Then he said, "We all are punished." Lord Capulet fell to his knees beside Juliet's body. "My child, my only joy, death has taken you from me." Lord Montague stood near Romeo. He said quietly, my son, this morning my wife died of grief because you were banished. Now I lose you too." Tears filled the eyes of both fathers. The prince looked at them sternly. "See what your hate has done," he said. "Heaven find a way to kill your joy with love." Then Lord Capulet turned to Lord Montague. He said, "Brother Montague, give me your hand. This is my child's dowry. I give you peace." Montague took his hand. "I will raise a golden statue of Juliet in Verona, so her love will be remembered forever." Capulet replied, "And I will build one of Romeo beside her." Never was there a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo. When morning came, the bells of Verona rang again. But this time, they rang not for war or wedding, but for peace. The two families, once full of pride and anger, walked together in silence. They followed the bodies of Romeo and Juliet through the streets. People threw flowers before them, weeping for the young lovers. Children whispered, "They died for love." Old men shook their heads and said, "They died because of hate." The prince spoke to the crowd. "Let their deaths be our lesson. Love cannot live in a heart full of anger. Peace must rule where hate once lived." From that day, the Montagues and Capulets no longer fought. They kept their promise. Two golden statues stood side by side in the city square. They shone brightly in the sunlight, a sign of love stronger than death. And every year, on the day of their death, the people of Verona came to lay flowers at their feet. They told their children the story of Romeo and Juliet, the boy and girl who loved each other so deeply that even death could not truly part them.